शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे
शारदा शारदाम्बोज वदना वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं क्रियात् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् अज्ञानां जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये विद्या विनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखरभारतीं सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः. Welcome to the session on Nyaya Shastra and Dharma Shastra series. This is being held on the third Sundays of every month. So today I think we'll have a small change in the format. Usually Dr. Jambunathan starts first and then I go next. So today I'm starting first and Dr. Jambunathan he will be joining later. So we'll start with the Nyaya Shastra where we left and we continue from that point onwards. Vidaya Hridivishesham Vidaya Guruvandanam Balanam Sukhabhodaya Kriyate Tarka Sangraha. With this, we start the Nyaya Shastra. We'll continue with where we left and we'll proceed from there. Let me just share my screen. So, to understand so far what did we see, right? In a summary, to understand the world, the Nyaya Shastra defines the world as 7 different objects or sub-padarthas that we call it. So they are dravya, substance, guna, quality, karma, action, samanya, nearness, vishesha, uniqueness, and samavaya, eternal relationship, and abhavaha, non-existing relationship. So this is these are the 7 basic things through which you can understand the world. So then you also need to be defining the world very correctly, very precisely, saying that if an object is this and an object is not that, right? That abhava is also considered as a padartha. Then we went through all the padarthas and then we went to all the definitions of those padarthas. So first we started with the dravya. So in the dravya, then there are 9 different dravyas which are classified. So what are they? They are Prithvi, Jalam, Tejaha, Vayuhu, Akashaha. So these are the 5 basic elements that we all know. Besides those 5 elements, there are 4 more dravyas. We call them, they are Akasha, Dik, Kala, Atma, Manas. So these are the next 4, which is the direction, time, Atma, and the mind. So this is how these are the 9 different substances that have been defined by the Nyaya Shastra Acharyas. So, and within that we understood how Prithvi was defined, how the earth was defined. So it says Gandhavati Prithvi. So it has a unique quality. So every time we define something, we make sure that that particular object is uniquely identified. I mean, without any definition errors or something like that. That is the most important fundamental part of the Nyaya Shastra. We say Gandhavati Prithvi because Gandha contains all the other properties within itself, and the exclusive property of the Rupa Rasa Sparsha Gandha is only the Gandha, which has all the 5 elements into it. So Prithvi contains all the 5 gunas, the 5 qualities in it. So that is why it's called the Gandhavati Prithvi. And then we went to the next one, which is Jalam. Jalam's unique quality is rasam, but it does not have gandha. So then we also say that Jalam also has a unique quality, which is Shita Jalam. So it is a cold in nature, and it is so that is the Jalam's nature. And then we saw Vayu, sorry, Teja. The Teja has a property of Rupa. It does not have Rasa, but it has the property of Shabda, Sparsha, and Rupa. So if you look at Prithvi, it has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And if you look at, we saw this picture, let me pull up this picture here. So Prithvi contains all the 5 qualities. The Jalam contains the 4 qualities, which is, it does not have the smell by inherently in its nature. Now, if you think the rose water is smelling rose, it is because something else is added to that. But natural, by nature, water does not contain any smell in it. So it only has taste, up to the taste point of it. Then Agni, which is the next one, has only 3 qualities in them, which is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, because you can see the Agni and form. So that is why it has a Rupa property in it. Vayu has only 2 properties, which are basically Shabda and Sparsha, the sound and the feeling, or the touch feeling which is there. And Akasa only contains a Shabda as its property. So this is how that classification has been done. So we define Prithvi as the one which is Gandhavati Prithvi. And then we said Jalam as Shitavan Shita Sparsha Apaha. So when it has the cold touching nature in it. That is the coldness in the water. That is why it is very, that is defined as water. And when we come to Agni, we define it as Ushna Sparshavat Tejaha. So it has a Sparsha quality in it, but it has a Ushna Sparshavat. It has the hotness in that. So basically, both are defined using the Sparsha quality. One with the cold Sparsha quality, another with the hot Sparsha quality. And then when we come to Vayu, it's a little, so we don't define Vayu with the Sparsha, because the Sparsha is also there in all the 3. So we cannot uniquely say it is cold Vayu or hot Vayu or anything like that. So what they have done here is called as the Rupa Rahita Sparshavan Vayu. So there is a Rupa, there is no Rupa. Jalam, the Agni has Rupa in it, whereas the Vayu does not have Rupa in it, but it has a touch feeling in it. So that is how it is defined. So this is a special definition in the Shastra that's called as the Dalasarthakyam. So basically, good example will be if you ask somebody's address. So what you say, give an address, and then you say he's next to this post office, or next to the petrol bunk, or whatever, gas station, whatever it is. So you define, there are two different indications that you give to that person, saying that, okay, you go to this road and he's next to this mobile gas station, and his address is so much, 123 Main Street or whatever it is. So same thing, we say in this case, in the case of Vayu, when it is defined, it is said as Rupa Rahita Sparshavan Vayu. So it has no form, but it has a Sparsha quality in it. So when you have a form with Sparsha quality, then it becomes Agni. Agni, or it can be water, or it can be earth also. But when you have a Sparsha quality there, without any form that's associated with it, then it becomes Vayu. Because if you take if there is no Sparsha, it becomes Shabda. So that way, you see that definition has been very clearly made. So Rupa Sparsha, Rupa Rahita Sparshavan Vayu, Sadvividaha, Nityaha, Anityascha. So we also saw that all these objects up to Vayu resides in 2 different layers. One in its Nitya form, another is in the Anitya form. So how does it happen? Because these 4 elements that Vayu, Tejaha, Jalam, and Prithvi, all the four elements in their eternal nature, they exist as something called as their own Paramanus. They're micro defined atomic layer of that object. So that is how it defines. And then we saw how these Paramanus collide together and objects are formed out of it. So the Vayu Paramanus collide together, the Vayu's objects are formed. Similarly, the Jala Paramanus collide together, the Jalam objects are formed, like that. So this kind of Paramanus collision basically creates that substance that we see there. So in that case, so the eternal form of that particular element is in its Paramanu Rupam. So that is the Nityam Paramanu Rupa. Anityaha Vayu Rupa. So when you do the Vayu Rupa, so when this forms, when Anityaha means basically when Nitya means it is eternal. Anitya means there is a creation and there is a destruction. So something else collides and creates a Vayu form, and then after some time that collision can also destroy. It's like our Punarapi, Jananam, Punarapi, Mananam, Jananam, Maranam, all these things are happening. Same way, Prithvi also, due to the collision of those Paramanus, is created, and at some point it's going to go back its original state, and then the collision can happen. Same thing will happen with Tejas, Vayu, everything. So that is the Anityam is the Karya Rupaha. Then there are three different Vedas. There are which is using the Shariram, which is the Vayu Loke, the Shariram is there. And the Indriyam is the Twak. Twak means the touching Indriya. That is that through that sense organ only you can feel Vayu. And Vishayaha, Pranaha. So the life which is sustaining in the body is there. So there are two different types of Vishaya in Vayu. One is the Vayu that we know, which can blow and shake the trees. Vriksha Kampana Hetuhu. So all the trees can be blown, and then all the cyclone and all those things that we see are the regular Vayu that we see, that which has that capacity. That is the one Vayu. The other Vayu is also there, which is within our body. So that other Vayu is called the Prana Vayu. So they here itself they classify the Vayu into two of the in the Vishaya. One is the regular Vayu that we know. The second Vayu is the Prana Vayu. And again he went beyond that point and said there are 5 different pranas that are available in the body. They are Prana, Apana, Samana, Udana, Vyana. So these are the 5 different Vayus, and where they reside. So the Pranavayu is in the heart. It enters and leaves through the nose. That is our vital breath. Whatever we are breathing, that is called as the Pranavayu, and that keeps our life moving. And the Apanavayu is excretion. It moves downwards. And the Samanavayu is inside the stomach, which is digesting the food. The Udanavayu is through the ears, and it goes through it has an upward movement. It enters through the ears and goes through an upward movement. And the Vyana Vayu is the Vayu that is present in all over the body, and there's in all the nadis, in all the nerve points that are there, the Vyana Vayu resides. So these are the 5 different types of Prana Vayu which are inside the body. Now, so up to this point, this Prithvi, Tejaha, Vayuhu, and Jalam, all these 4 things, we call that as the Murta Dravyams. That means they exist only in the eternal state as Paraman Rupam, and then they have a transformatory state, and then we see the real world objects, and we try to understand them through this. So there is a creation process that is happening within that, and it is going away. So that is the Murta Dravya. So next would be, so this is up to this point we saw last time, and I think we'll go through the next one, which is the next substance, which is the Akasha. So when you define Akasha, Acharya made a very simple statement. He said, Shabda Gunatmakam Akasham. So Akasha has only one quality, and that one quality is the sound. Shabda Gunatmakam. So that is very easy to define. So when you define earth, you can say it has all the qualities. And when you define Akasha, we can just say it has only one quality. So that the first and last have been very clearly defined. The second, third, and fourth, he has mingled with words and defined all those things. So that is to make sure that all these definitions are uniquely defined and clearly understood that way. So that is the only thing there, and that is Vibhuhu. So we saw the other 4 were Murta Dravyas because they exist, has its own creation and everything. It has a destruction at some point and all those things. Whereas here it is eternal. The Akasha is considered to be eternal. There is no beginning or end. So it has been there forever. Nityam Cha. So there is no Paramanu concept here. Akasha by itself is eternal. And Akasha is the material cause for sound. So basically when sound waves go through, Akasha means it's not the sky. Normally in other languages we talk about, it is the ethereal layer or the air layer or something like that. So this is the material cause for the sound, and it is all pervading, and it is eternal. It is Nitya. Sound is produced in space with an eternal relationship, and it is a Vibhu Padartha, since It is connected to all four substances that have limited size. So as you see, the Murta Dravyas have a limitation. The limitation is they are created and they are destroyed. Whereas the sound, that Akasha layer, is never created there. It is eternal. And that's how Akasha is defined. So we define all the five elements now. Then Acharya talks about four other pieces, or four other substances, four other dravyas, which will go through the next four of them. So the sixth dravya is the dik. Dik stands for directions. So what does the dik say? For the dik, what do we say? Prachyadi vyavahara hetuhu dik. Sacha eka vibhi nityacha. So prachyadi. So what is dik? Dik is the directions. What are the directions? Like east, prachyadi. All this east, west, northwest, south, everything that you talk about, they're all called as a dik. So now this dik is always relative. Space is, but it is in the space, it is all pervading and it is eternal. So there is no destruction. So there is no like east today and west tomorrow. So it is east all the time, west is west all the time. So it is always there, eternal. And the object possesses a distinguishable property of eastern direction. East is used as a reference of direction. Also, it's a referential point. So today, one city will be east to you, and tomorrow it can be west to you. But it is only a referential point. So there is no your definition can change, whereas the definition of east or west will never change. So that is the beauty about that definition. So it is also called as a Vibhu Padartha. It is a Nitya Padartha. And next would be Kalaha. Kalaha stands for time. Time also is eternal. Time includes references of past, present, and future. Again, time is being defined by us. Time is not defined by any other constant. We only decide on our own terms. We call a day because between sunrise and sunset and sunrise we call it a night, and all those things we just account it, and we grade all the times and everything. But there is nothing called in the creation, there is nothing called as a time. So but it is a referential point. It is all pervading and eternal. So there is no creation of time or destruction of time, because time is always there. And everything comes into the being in time. So this padartha, this dravya also has relationship with all the padarthas, all the dravyas. So everything actually, padarthas, when you go to the everything. So it is over encompassing. If you look at time alone, it is over encompassing against all the other objects. The time is classified into two. So one is classified as Mahakala. The Mahakala is the whole universe existing in time. This identifies with eternality and Vibhutva, as it connect across all the Murtas. So the Mahakala, who is represented by Parameshwara himself, is a whole universe that is existing in time. Then the other one is called as the Kandakala. The Kandakala basically is divisible measurement of time. So when we do all these days, years, weeks, months, yugas, manvantaras, all those things are there. They are all divisible measurements, and the Kanda means piece, cut into pieces. So the Kandakala are the different types of divisions that we make out of time. That is for our own references and understanding. So that's how time is defined as the seventh dravya. The next dravya is Atma. Jnanadhikaranam Atma. Sadvividaha. Paramatma Jivatma cha. Tatra Ishvaraha Sarvajnaha Paramatmaika eva. Jivatma Pratishariram Vinnaha Vibhuhu Nityancha. So Jnana Adhikaranam Atma. So Atma is a place. Atma is the basis for Jnanam. So the Jnanam, the knowledge, or the knowledge is residing in Atma, because Atma becomes the basis. So we saw the Adhikaranam in the previous example, where we say when apple is in the floor becomes the Adhikaranam and the apple becomes the Adheya. So the one object which is over the is called as the Adheya, and the one which is the basis, which is holding that object, is the Adhikarana. That is where that action takes place. So that's why same thing. Atma is the basis for the Jnana. This Atma definition can can twist you out of your own other understanding of Atma and other Shastras, but let us see what it is. Maybe or may not. Let's see. Relationship between them is eternal. So the relationship between the Jnanam and the Atma is an eternal relationship because the Jnanam resides in the Atma all the time. Where? Now also we should understand where that it is because there are two different types of Atmas. So one is the Paramatma. That's a all-pervading Sarvajnaha. He knows everything, and in him the Jnanam is Nityam. So the Paramatma is the Ishvara, is all-pervading. So the Nyaya Shastra also accepts the Paramatma, the Ishvara concept of Ishvara. So he is the Sarvajna. He knows everything. He is, and most of the time we say, why are these two Paramanus colliding? It's because Ishvara Icha. That's what they say. So because the wish of the Paramatma, that is how this collision happens. So everything happens, and he is the witness principle and all those kind of things. That's how we define in the Paramatma. And the second Atma is your individual, the Jivatma. In the Jivatma, the Jnanam is not eternal. So how is that? Because a Jivatma is born and he gains Jnanam. And and then at some point he loses the Jnana, whether when he passes away or when he loses the Jnana. So that is why the Jnanam that is there in the Jivatma is not eternal. It is because it is gained and it is lost after some time. So that's how we should understand that way. So Paramatma and the Jivatma are the two types. The Paramatma is eternal relationship with the Jnana. The Jivatma has a transient relationship with the Jnana. And it is differs by individuals. So what are the other points that we need to understand about Atma here as per the Nyaya Shastra? So Atma is both self and the Ishvara. So the Jivatma and Paramatma. But it is not anything that we know like our objects that we normally talk about or the dravyas like earth, water, fire, etc. It is nothing to do with that. It is on its own. It is a dravya by itself. It is a substance by itself. So it is the locus of the inner world like cognition, knowledge, happiness, unhappiness, desire, aversion, impression, etc. It is the locus. It is the local point of that. And Atman is the material cause for all these qualities. It is not conscious by nature, but it alone can become conscious. So this is when you say it is a Jiva Paramatma. So it is not conscious. It does not have a Chetanatvam, but it can make a Chetana. It can become a Chetana. And Chetanatvam is a guna of a Jivatma. So the Jivatma gets that consciousness. So for a Jivatma, the knowledge is generated in him. So it is non-eternal. And very important that we need to understand, the Nyaya Shastra differentiate the Atma and the Manas. Manas is a different one, and Atma is a different one. So how does it differ? What is the difference between Atma and Manas? Atma is the individual. It is the knowledge. It is which has an adhikaranam of the Jnanam. The Manas is the one for a Jivatma which is used as as an instrument to understand the knowledge. So the Manas is not Atman. Manas is an instrument to understand the knowledge. So that is about the Dravya called Atma. So the last Dravya is the mind. So what is the mind? Sukhadi upalabdhi sadhanam indriyam manaha. Tacha pratyatma nityatvad anantam paramanu rupam nityam cha. So what does it mean? Basically, Sukhadi upalabdhi sadhanam indriyaha. The mind is the internal sense organ for our awareness of happiness, etc. So the mind is the one which tells I am happy, I am sad, all those kind of things. And then it is unique to individuals. So how many minds are there? Unlimited number of people, as many individuals as we know existed, all those kinds of things. So it's innumerable. And the Nyaya Shastra also defines the mind as a size of an atom. And it is eternal, it can move very fast. So it is also an object that is being defined here. So let's see some more points about the mind. The knower understands and internalizes the world. So the external world becomes an object of his knowledge. He internalizes the external world through external senses. And this is another very subtle, very deep thought that has been given by our Shastras. Normally, only one sense organ function at a time. So we may think it is something hot spill on my leg or something like that. Then I think you think there are two sense organs working at the same time. It doesn't do that. One sense organ takes the pain, another that's a touch pain, so that's different feeling, and the other sense organ comes and feels about the hotness. So they don't work at the same time. So they are two different. It can only function at one point in a time. So that's how the mind works on that. The mind is the entity between the Jivatma and the Indriyas. So that from the Atma to the Indriyas, mind is the one which this is the translation object for that. So when we say I am happy, I have desire, I know this, I know I want this, all those kind of things, these are the things that is being done by the mind actually. So that is how the mind is different from an Atma, and it is how mind connects to the Jivatma, to the internal world. So now we saw the 9 dravyas, and we will start with the qualities, the gunas. As we saw earlier, there are 24 gunas that have been defined, like Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, Sankhya, Parimana, ityadi. So we'll go through each one of these quickly. So it will be we'll talk about each of them. I see that Dr. Jambunathan has come, but I think I'll go for a few minutes and then I can ask him to start. So the first one, the first guna is the Rupa. Rupa is the first guna. So how do we define Rupam? Chakshur matra grahyo gunaha Rupam. Tacha Shukla Neela Pita Rakta Harita Kapisha Chitra Vedat Saptavidham. Prithvi Jala Tejo Vrittihi Tatra Prithivyam Saptavidham. Abhaswara Shuklam Jale, Abhaswara Shuklam Tejasi. So basically there are Rupa. In this case, Rupa means it's a color. Basically it is defined as color. I mean, Rupa is a form we normally say, but Rupa here in the Shastra is defined as color. So there are only 7 colors. That's a fundamental thing you need to know according to the Shastra. I mean we know in your color palette in your Word document or anything, you will have million colors. But basically the fundamental colors these are the 7 colors. What are they? White, blue, yellow, red, green, brown, and the multicolor. The multicolor comprises of all the colors. And out of this, the white color has 2 different forms. One is called as a Bhaswara Shuklam, which is shining. That shining thing happens in the fire. In the other one is called a non-radiant Shukla. That is, the water has also a white color, and that white color is not shining in it. So that is called the Abhaswara Shukla, so non-radiant color. So there are 2 different classifications of the white color. And the other thing is the Prithvi Jala Tejo Vrittihi. So now he also takes where this Rupa exists, where in all these, which other substances where this Rupa resides. It resides in earth, fire, and water. So earth has all the 7. Obviously, any earthly object will have all the 7 properties in all the 7 colors in them. And water, non-radiant white, and we saw that fire also has a radiant white. And the most important thing is, what is the faculty of understanding this Rupa is the faculty is the eyes. The eyes is the faculty of through the eyes we see the color. The second guna is rasa. Rasanagrahyo gunaha rasaha. Tacha madhura amla lavana katu kashaya tikta vedat shadvidaha. Prithvi jala vrittihi tatra prithivya shadvidaha jale madhuraha eva. So what it means the faculty for understanding the rasa. The faculty means where the knowledge, how do you know if something is good, sweet or not, is only through the tongues. That is the faculty for us. That's the indriyam through which we understand this. It is of 6 types. And the 6 types are sweet, sour, salty, spicy, astringent, and bitter. So these are the 6 types. And which substances they exist? They exist in earth and water. Earth has, of course, earth is all encompassing. In earth, you will see all the 6 objects. all the six rasas. But in water by nature has only one rasa, which is the sweetness. So water is always sweet. So we also saw water is always cool. That's its nature. Water is always sweet. That is its nature. So that is the nature of the water. So that's something we need to understand. So the third guna is granagrahyo gunaha gandaha sadvividaha surabhihi asurabhischa prithvi matra vrittihi. So then the most important thing about Prithvi is it has only one, it has a unique quality of this Gandha, and Gandha also exists only in the Prithvi. So and the faculty for knowing that Gandha is the nose. So then there are two different types of smell, good smell and not good smell, or fragrant and non-fragrant. It exists only in earth. So the next one is the sparsha. So I'll stop at this point because these four are related together. So it becomes a logical conclusion, and I think I can have Dr. Jambunathan start after this point. Tvagendriya matra grahyo gunaha sparshaha tacha trividaha shita ushna shita ushna ashita vedhat prithivya tejo vayu vrittihi tatra shito jale ushna tejasi anushnisita Prithvi Vayavaho. So basically what it is touch is the one which is revealed by the faculty of the touching or contact or something like that. So it has three different types of qualities within that. There is a cold touch, there's a hot touch, and then there's a warm touch, Anushna. So the cold is in water, the hot touch is in fire, and the Anushna touch, the warm touch is in the earth and air. So touch present in earth can be changed to another type by heating, etc. So in the earth form, it is non-eternal in its case because the touch also can be changed. And touch will be in eternal state as long as they are in the eternal substances. What it means is, in the eternal, the relationship on the touch in the water is always cold, means it is always there, and that relationship will be there eternally within that. Okay. So at this point, I will stop my talk, and I think I will invite Dr. Jambunathan to start on the Dharma Shastra series, and we can have discussion or any questions later after the session is over. Thank you.
You are on mute, Jambunathan.
Thank you, Padmanabhanji, for that lecture, and thank you for all of you attending. Namaskarams to all. We will continue on the Manusmriti lectures. Srinivasanji or Padmanabhanji, can we project the sloka number 26 of the second chapter? Do any of you have it?
Yeah, I am doing it right now. So
okay.
just give me a second. I'm just seeing it's here. Okay, so let me mute myself.
Yep, that's right. We finished with, we are doing the Manusmriti. We are as a continuation of that. We finished the first chapter we talked about in the last few classes. And the second chapter we started and we covered the first 25 slokas. The first 25 slokas, if you recollect, was trying to define all the different places on earth, like which is considered Brahma Vartam, Deva Vratam, Rishi Vartam, and all that stuff. And if you looked in the previous recording, so according to the creation itself, so what we have to understand is the entire thing is a divine creation. So, and the divine creation decides where divinity manifests more. So that is the main important point. Remember, when we talk about, even when Lord Krishna, the Vibhuti Yoga, we talk about Vibhuti Yoga, the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Masana Margashirshoham, like this is Margai Masam. Among the months I am Margai, so which means the rest of the months not considered divine, or same thing you will say, I am among the Siddhas, I am Kapila Muni. So except Kapila or all of them not divine. So the important thing is divinity, the entire creation is divine, but the divinity manifests more in some places than other. That's exactly what it is. For example, that is the example how even Ramana Maharshi describes Tiruvannamalai. Tiruvannamalai is a mountain. If you go to Tiruvannamalai, It's a big mountain and people do Giri Pradakshinam. They actually circambulate the whole mountain itself. Imagine the mountain is Shivalinga. So there are so many mountains. Sahyadri is where Dattatreya lives. So there all the mountains are there. We got Rocky Mountains here. We got the Sierra Nevada here. So all the mountains. So the answer is yes, all of them are mountains. All of them are divine. But in some divinity manifests more. It is something like the light. We have the light. If we have a very dark covering over the light is still there, but it is not manifest well. But if the light has a transparent covering, it manifests more. So that is basically, that is where the Lord himself, when the creation happens, it is so that divinity manifests more in some places than other places. And for ordinary people, they have to go to these places where divinity manifests more. So for people who are very evolved, they can take a bath in Mississippi River itself and tell, I had Ganga Snanam. But people who are in the lower level of evolution have to go to Ganga, take a bath in Ganga, and then only they will get more purified. So that is what you have to understand in Dharma Shastras. When the rishis tell, eat this particular vegetable, don't eat that vegetable, because all these goings are going to come. So, we'll be, as things go on, you'll get more and more specific details. And, because then this chapter, you will see how many specific details are there. You will be amazed how many different things our rishis are mentioning. And then you will understand, okay, or only these things, they will say you should only this type of wood. You should use only this type of cloth. So all these are going to come. So the question is, even in cloth or the wood, the divinity manifests. For example, we do Arasamara Pradakshinam in Tamil Nadu. In Ashwatha, the Ashwatha Pradakshina is considered to be very holy. But because in Ashwatha tree, Vishnu manifests more. That is the reason if you do Arasamara Pradakshina, you get more benefit. In Audumbara tree, Dattatreya manifests more. So there are some divinities which manifest more in some trees. Because I'm telling you this all as a prelude, you'll be hearing all these comings in the next few chapters. So with that, we stopped with the 25th sloka last time. Esha dharmasya vo yonihi samasena prakirtita sambhavaschasya sarvasya varna dharma nibodhata. So Bhrigu Muni, as you know, with the entire Manusmriti was being told by Manu, Swayambhuva Manu to Bhrigu Maharishi. And Bhrigu Maharishi is narrating exactly what Manu said to the other rishis who are assembled there. So that's what Bhrigu Maharishi says. I have already described the creation and also how the Varna Dharmas, all the Varnas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras have all come into creation. Now I am going to describe the individual details. That's how the 25th sloka ends. Now we'll start with the 26th sloka, which you see in the there. Vaidigai karmabihi punyai nishakedir dvijanmanam karya sharira samskaraha pavanaha pretya chehacha. Vaidigai karmabihi punyai nishekadihi dvijanmanam karya sharira samskaraha pavanaha pretya chehacha. So it says Dvijanmana means all the twice borns, and here it refers to Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. All three are considered the twice born, and because they all have the Upanayanam, after Upanayanam are called twice born. For them, following the Vaidiga karmas, all the rituals described by the Vedas will cause Sharira Samskaraha. They will purify the body. So the soul doesn't need any purification, but the soul is covered by the causal body, the subtle body, and the gross body. Only once the gross and subtle body gets more and more purified, the Atma Jnanam will come. Without purifying the Chitta Shuddhi or anything, the spiritual progress or the Atma Jnanam will not come. So the whole idea of the Vaidika karmas is to purify the Sharira. It is not purification of the soul, but it is like the diamond is there. The diamond is covered with dust. If you remove the dust itself, the diamond will automatically shine. There is no new shine for diamond. Same way, the soul is like the diamond. All the dirt covering the soul is all the previous samskaras, the Purva-janma pavas and vasanas. So that is what is covering. So all you have to remove the dust and all these samskaras, what we are going to be describing. Samskara means well done. The samskaras are going to be purifying the body and the soul. And basically it said, all the Vaidika karmas, beginning from Nishekadihi, Nishekadir, Nisheka Adi, it means. Nisheka Adi means it is basically the first night, where the Garbha thing is, the Garbhadanam is done. So right from the day when the conception happens, even, we call immaculate conception in Christianity. In Hinduism, everything is considered immaculate conception. Once you do the Nisheka, the rule or the whatever the ritual, every conception is considered an immaculate conception. So beginning from Nisheka, all the rituals start, and the whole idea of the rituals is to purify the body so that the spiritual progress can happen. So now we go on to 27th sloka. Garbair homair jata karma shauda maunji nibandanaihi baijigam garbikam shaino dvijanmanam apamrujyate. Garbair homair jata karma chauda maunji nibandanaihi baijikam garbikam chaino dvijanam apamrujyate. So basically it says the Garbhadanam happens, and the Garbhadanam is the initial, after the husband and wife get married, the first night, Shanti Muhurtam, whatever we call, at that time the Garbhadanam is going to happen, and that has to be itself started with there should be a homa performed, and after the Garbhadanam, when the child is born, Jata Karma has to be done. We're going to be describing all this, Jata Karma, Chaulam, Maunji Bandhanam, Mauji Bandhana, all these have to be done. So, and what is the purpose of this? Baijikam, Garbikam, Chaino, Dijanmanam, Apamrujyate. Baijikam means Bija. Garbikam means Garbha. Bija comes from the father. Garbha comes from the mother. So the Baijik, there is doshas in both the Bija and the Garbika. So all these doshas, so right, we assume that everything is impure right from day one. The doshas are coming with the Baijika and the Garbika, which means basically the soul, because we believe, if you read the Panchagni Vidya in Chandogni Upanishad, how the soul enters into the sperm of a man is described very well, how from death, that's a very, very important chapter called Panchagni Vidya, which comes in the 5th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. It goes through the entire description of since death, how the soul leaves the body, where and all the soul travels, and how the soul comes back to the sperm of a man, and how it enters to come the creation is described in very detailed, Panchagni Vidya. So the Bija comes with the problem itself. So by doing all these, the problem in the Bija as well as the Garbha will be slowly removed by doing all these homas, Jata Karmas, Chauda, Maunji Nibandhanais, all these. That's what Manu is saying, Swayambhuva Manu is telling. Next, Swadhyayena Bradair Homais Traividyenan Ijaya Shutaihim Mahayagnescha Yagnescha Brahmiyam Kriyate Tanuhu. Swadhyayena Bradair Homair Trairvidya Ijaya Sutaihim Mahayagnescha Yagnescha Brahmiyam Kriyate Tanuhu. That is the sloka number 28. Swadhyaya means learning the Vedas, or actually reciting. Vratair is all the vratas. There are so many vratas which will come, which we'll be discussing here. All the, the Veda vratas, we call them. The vratas will come. Homas, you have to perform the homas. Trair Vidya. Trair Vidya means learning the details of the three Vidya means it's Rig, Yajur, Sama is together called Trair Vidya. Trair Vidya, Trayi, they even call Trayi. Whenever you see Trayi in our important scriptures, Trayi refers to Trair Vidya, which is Rig, Yajur, Sama. That doesn't mean otherwise included. It is by tradition they call Traividya, Trayi will come, that it indicates the three Vedas. Ijjaya means all the Upasanam and the Nitya Karmas mentioned in the Vedas. Sutaihi means by giving birth to kids. So by doing all the homas, by reading the Vedas, and by giving birth to the kids, you get rid of the three runas. Deva Runa, Rishi Runa, Pitru Runa. Every human is born with three loans. It is like we are born with a loan, and we have bought loan from the Devas, we bought loan from our own Pitrus, we bought loan from the Rishis, and by reading the Vedas, you fulfill the Rishi Rin. By giving birth to nice kids, humans, you fulfill the Pitrus, and also by doing Pitru Karmas too. But they say even by Putrotpatti, Pitru Karmas or Pitru Rina is gone. And by doing all the different homas and pujas, the Deva Rina is gone. So that is what it's saying. And Maha Yagnescha means Mahayajnam and Yajnam, two terms are used here. Mahayajnam means the Pancha Mahayajnam, the Brahma Yajnam, Deva Yajnam, Pitru Yajnam, Manusha Yajnam, Bhuta Yajnam, which everybody has to do every day. And Yajnesh means all the other Yajnas, the Aptoryamam, the Vajapayam, and all the major homas which are mentioned in the Vedas. By doing what happens? Brahmiyam Kriyate Tanuhu. Everybody attains the state, can attain the Brahman status. So by chanting the Vedas, by performing the Veda Vratas, by doing the homas, by studying in detail the three Vedas, performing Aupasanam and all the Ijjayas, by giving birth to nice kids, by doing the Panchamaha Yajnas, and by doing other Yajnas mentioned in the Shrutis, Brahmiyam Kriyate Tanuhu, one can attain the status of Brahmam. So that is what it is said in that sloka. So again, it is reinforcing the fact, the more of these Shastras and Karmas you follow, it purifies your body and it elevates you slowly to the Brahman status. Sloka number 29. Prang Nabi Vardhanat Pumso Jata Karma Vidiyate Mantravat Prashanam Shasya Hiranya Madhu Sarpisham. Prang Nabi Vardhanat Pumso Jata Karma Vidiyate Mantravat Prashanam Shasya Hiranya Madhu Sarpisham. So the term Hiranya Madhu Sarpisham means, Hiranya means gold, Madhu means honey, ten, and Sarpisham is basically, it is somewhere in between butter and ghee. It is butter ghee, so it is in a state where it is not completely liquid, not completely solid, the butter ghee state, that is called the Sarpisham. So those are the three things. What is this Jata Karma? So it says, Pran Nabir Vardhanam. Nabi Vardhanam means the umbilical cord. Before the umbilical cord is cut. So when you remember how the baby is born, after the delivery from the mother's uterus, the umbilical cord still connects the baby's umbilicus to the mother's chorion amnion. So you have to cut it, then only you can release the baby. So when the baby is born, but before the umbilical cord is cut. So basically, let's say the baby is born at 8 p.m. in the night. The father has to do Jata Karma right away. So the father has to do the Jata Karma is done by the father on behalf of the kid. And what the father does is Jata Karma, and he has to do the procedure before the umbilical cord is cut. And what he does is Mantravat Prashanam Shasya Hiranya Madhu Sarpisham. He has to chant some mantras, and then he has to take in a golden spoon honey mixed with ghee, and that has to be the newborn kid. He has to slowly put it in the tongue of the newborn kid. But before that, actually, the detail of the Jata Karma is not given in the Mantra Manusmriti. Manusmriti just mentions Jata Karma is to be done by the father using appropriate mantras before the umbilical cord is cut. That's all it gives a description. But you have to go to Apastamba Sutra. That will give the big details. Jata Karma is a big chapter. It will tell how to do Jata Karma there. So basically, you have to do that as soon as the baby is born. It seems the Pitrus all come. So you have to do the Nandi Vrata. Nandi, as you know, Nandi is the what we call the more the benevolent Pitrus. These Pitrus always come for blessing, and you have to, before you do marriage, anything big in your family, has to do Nandi. Nandi is basically again only a Pitru Puja, but this Pitru Puja is little bit different than the Pitru Puja what you do on Amavasya and Sraddha. So the Nandi Vrata has to be done, and after the Nandi, he has to give little Danam, charity he has to give. And after doing Nandi Vrata and the charity, then he has to chant the special mantras, and then take this golden spoon with the honey and the ghee and put it on the tongue of the newborn kid. And only after that, the umbilical cord can be cut. And they say if you do this Jata Karma itself, lot of this autism and all these problems which we see these days will not be coming. So people don't even know what Jata Karma is, forget how to do Jata Karma. So Jata Karma is done as soon as the kid is born, before the umbilical cord is cut. And this is one of the exceptions where the father can bath even at midnight. Normally our Shastras don't allow bathing after a particular time. But when it is Grahana time, or when it is a birth or death time, those are three circumstances where exceptions are given even for midnight bath. So if the kid is born at midnight, immediately the father has to do snana, and then only he has to do all these procedures. So that is about the Jata Karma. Madhu just gives the outline. Nabi Vardhanat Pumso. Before the umbilical cord is cut, perform the Jata Karma. Next is sloka number 30. Namadeyam Dashamyam tu Dwadashyam Vasya Karayet Punye Tito Muhurteva Nakshatreva Gunanvite. Namadeyam Dashamyam tu Dwadashyam Va Asya Karayet Punye Tito Muhurteva Nakshatreva Gunanvite. Then you have to call Nama Karma. Jata Karma is done as soon as the baby is born. Nama Karma is giving a name for the baby. So you have to give a name. We all do it in our families too. The Nama Karma is done on, supposed to be done 10th day or 12th day, it says. Manusmriti says, Dashamyam to Dwadashyam. 10th or 12th day, you have to do the Nama Karma. You select a good Tithi, Muhurta and all that date during the time period. If you cannot do it during the 10th or 12th, he also says, select some good Punya Tithi with good Muhurta and good Nakshatra. Then, for example, for some circumstance, you couldn't do it on the 10th or 12th day. Manu is giving the alternative. Pick up a good Tithi with good Muhurta and Nakshatra. According to your family tradition, you can do the Namadeyam also. So after Jata Karma, the next samskara is Nama Karma. So all of this, even naming the kid, how to name the kid is given. The way you name the kid itself will remove the sins of the kid. So that is important to remember. Because all the samskaras we talked about is basically purification. Mangalyam Brahmanasya Shyat Kshatriyasya Balanvitam Vaishyasya Dhanasamyuktam Shudrasitu Jukupsitam. Mangalyam Brahmanasya Shyat Kshatriyasya Balanvitam Vaishyasya Dhanasamyuktam Shudrasitu Jukupsitam. So if you are born in a Brahmana, your name itself should be the Mangala Karma irukunu. Then even hearing the name should be auspicious. It should be a very auspicious name. Kshatriyasya Balanvitam. If you are born in a Kshatriya, your name itself should project valor, greatness, like Rajaraja Cholan. Adivikraman, Adivira Pandyan means nobody can beat him, something like that. So the name itself should project your strength. So the Brahmana's name should project auspiciousness. The Kshatriya's name should project strength. Vaishyasya Dhanasamyuktam. The name of a Vaishya should project wealth. Something which meaning going with wealth, money, all that thing should come in a Vaishya's name. Shudra Situ Jukupsitam. Shudra name should be kind of little bit downplayed, which doesn't cause any of the above. And it should be like more like a name which and I cannot tell this in the public. You Shudra should only name your kids like this. But that's what Manu says is Shudra's name should not be like very projecting of anything. It should be kind of little low toned. And next is Sharmavat Brahmanasya Shyat Ragyo Raksha Samanvitam Vaishyasya Pushti Samyuktam Shudrasya Praishya Samyutam. Sharmavat Brahmanasya Shyat Ragyo Raksha Samanvitam Vaishyasya Pushti Samyuktam Shudrasya Praishya Samyuktam. So this is how again, and extending on the name, it is a general given tradition. Brahmana's name should end with Sharma. Kshatriya's name should end with Varma. Even if you see the recent Punniyin Selvan, the original name of Raja Cholan is Arun Mori Varman. That is his real name. So if you go to all the Malayala kings, all these, they will all end in only Varma. Varma is for any Kshatriya. Sharma should be for Brahmana. Varma should be for Kshatriya. Gupta should be for Vaishya. And Dasa should be for Shudra. So your name should end with Narayana Sharma, Arun Mori Varma, or Lakshmi Gupta, and finally something like you can say Srinivasa Dasa, something like that. So that is how the Nama. So that is again what Manu is telling is even the name should be able to differentiate your Varna, and the name also should have the special qualities. And Raja is adding here Rakshanam. Even one is projecting, the name can be projecting the strength or projecting the capability to protect. Raksha, Ragyo, Raksha, Samanvita means if the name can also project something which means protection. This guy will protect us. As soon as you hear his name, the name itself should say, oh, this is a protecting name. And same thing, Vaishya is for anything to promote wealth, and Shudra is anything promoting service. The name of Shudra should be something which projects service in the name itself. So these are how Namakarma is done. Again, Jata Karma, Nama Karma and all will be, Manus will be just touching on it. If you go to the real Apastamba Bodhayana Sutras, there are more and more details. So you start with the Shastras, but if you need more and more specific details, you have to go to your own Sutra. If you're Apastamba Sutra, Ashvalayana Sutra, whatever the particular Sutra will give you more details on how to do those things. Now it comes to naming of because we finished Jata Karma, we are now in Nama Karma. Strinam Shukodyam Akruram Vispashtartam Manoharam Mangalyam Dirgavarnantam Ashirvarda Abhidanavat. So how to name a lady? If a female kid is born, how do you name the female kid? Strinam Shukodyam Akruram Vispashtartam Manoharam Mangalyam Dirgavarnantam Ashirvarda Abhidanavat. So basically, it should be, even to hear again, it should be very pleasant name to hear. Akruram, it should not be anything really projecting like torture, or, the name should not be like that. Vispashtartam, even the meaning should be really, you should not pick names which has no meaning. Pick a word which has a good meaning. Manoharam, again, hearing the name itself, you would feel good in your heart. Again, auspicious. Dirgavarnan, like Uma, all those, in Tamil we call Kuril Nedil. It should have all the needles there. The Dirgavarnam should be there. And it should also project Ashirvada. So it is giving all these different options how to name a female. Sugodhyam, Akruram, Vishpashtartam, Manoharam, Mangalyam, Dirgavarnantam, Ashirvada, Abhidanavat. So that is naming of the female kid. Now coming to sloka number 34. Chaturte Masi Kartavyam Shishor Nishkramanam Grihat Shashte Annaprashanam Masi Yadveshtam Mangalam Kule. Chaturte Masi Kartavyam Shishor Nishkramanam Grihat Shashte Annaprashanam Masi Yadveshtam Mangalam Kule. So he is telling on the 4th month after the kid is born, you should do Nishkramanam. And the 6th month, Shashte Masam, the 6th month, Annaprashanam. And you can do it Yadveshtam Mangalam Kule according to the protocol which your family follows. So he's not giving detail. Each family might have a different way of doing the Nishkramanam and Annaprashanam. But what is Nishkramanam means? Taking the kid first out to see the sun. So that is why after 4 months, you're not even supposed to take the kid out. We take to doctor's office very quickly now. But basically, according to Shastras, only the 4th month, the kid can leave the house to see the sun first. And only after that, it's eligible to go and see the rest of the world. So the Nishkramanam is, again, it's a Vedic procedure. You have to do some mantras and thereby take the kid to get first exposed to the sun. And then Annaprashanam is feeding the kid first time. It happens in the 6th month. Again, there is rules, how to do Annaprashanam. And it also goes through, you have to do some small homa, mantras, you have to do Punyagavachanam, and then feed the kid accordingly. It also tells what to feed and all. But Manusmriti just tells you only the guideline. It doesn't give you the details. Now coming to sloka number 35. Chudakarma Dvichatinam Sarvesham Eva Dharmataha Pradame Abde Trutiyeva Kartevam Shrudichodhanat. Chudakarma Dvichatinam Sarvesham Eva Dharmataham Pradame Abde Trutiyeva Kartavyam Shrutishodhanat, which is Chudakarma. Chudakarma is keeping the kudmi, the tuft of hair. So this is a protocol which has to be done according to Vedic. None of us, we do only crop, that's different. But the Vedas say either at the end of the first year, it says Pradame Abde or Tritiye, 3rd year. After the first year is done or after the 3rd year is done, the kid, especially the male kid, should have a procedure for keeping the kudmi, which is the tuft of hair. Chudakarma that is what the procedure. So again, you do some mantras, and after the mantras, you cut the hair and you create the tuft of hair in the kudmi, and the kid is supposed to keep it all through the life unless he takes sannyasa later in the life. So that is on the 1st or the 3rd year. Next he says, Garbhashtame Abde Kurvita Brahmanasya Upanayanam Garbhad Ekadeshe Ragnyo Garbhad tu Dwadashe Vishaham. Garbhashtame abde kurvita Brahmanasya Upanayanam Garbhad Ekadashe Ragyo Garbhad tu Dwadashe Vishaham. So it includes the Garbha period. So eighth, it says Garbha Ashtami means 8th after the conception. So which is 7 years after birth. So we can take it just -1 because Manu includes the Garbha period also. Right from when the Garbha Dhanam starts, basically it says at the 8th year means you forget the 10 months of the pregnancy time. So 7th year. So for the Brahmanas, 7th year the Upanayanam has to be done, the thread ceremony where they put the Yajnapavitam, the Upanayanam, the big thread ceremony. That has to be the sacred thread ceremony has done at the 7th year for Brahmanas. Garbhad Ekadashe Ragyo for the Rajas, which is Satriyas, at the 10th year. And Garbhad to Dwadashe Vishaha. And for the Vaishyas, 11th year, because again it includes the Garbha time. So for the Brahmanas, 7th year, the sacred ceremony should be done. For the Kshatriyas, it should be done at the time of the 11th year. And for 10th year, and for the Vaishya should be 11th at the 11th year. So that's basically the time to do the Upanayanam. Brahma Varchasa Kamasya Karyam Viprasya Panchame Ragyo Balardine Shashte Vaishyashe Hartino Ashtame. Brahma Varchasa Kamasya Karyam Viprasya Panchame Ragyo Balartine Shashte Vaishyashe Hartino Ashtame. So basically it says 7th year, 10th year and 11th year is the normal rule. But if you want a kid to be having great Brahmavarchas, you should do the Upanayana at the 5th year itself. For Adi Shankara and all, the Upanayana was done only the 5th year itself. So if the kid you want, if the kid has to be have more Brahmavarchas, which is the Brahma Tejas and things, you should do Upanayana at the 5th year for Brahmanas. For the king, if you want to be a more and more powerful king, you have to do the Upanayanam at the 6th year itself. And for the Vaishya, if you want more and more wealth and trade, you have to do in the 8th year itself. So normal is 7th year, 10th year, 11th year. If you want special benefits, you have to do it the 5th year, 6th year, 8th year. So just the Manu is giving. If you want special benefits, you have to do a little earlier itself. Then sloka number 38. A Shodashat Brahmanasya Savitri na Ativartate A Dvavimshat Kshatrabandora Chadurvimshatir Vishaham. A Shodashat Brahmanasya Savitri na Ativartate A Dvavimshat Kshatrabandora Chadurvimshatir Vishaham. Shodashat means 16. He also now sets the upper limit. He says when to do, when is the lower limit to do for if you want special benefits. Now he is giving upper limit. For Brahmanas, it has to be done maximum by 16. Savitri na ativartate, don't go beyond 16. For Brahmanas, at the most, he says that is not the rule. He says that is the exception. For some reason, you cannot do it earlier. Don't go beyond 16 years for Brahmanas. Dvavimshat means 22. For Kshatriyas, don't go beyond 22. And Chaturvimsha means 24. For Vaishyas, don't go beyond 24. So this is the upper limit. You have to do the sacred ceremony before 16 years for Brahmanas, before 22 for Kshatriyas, and before 22 for Vaishyas. So that is about the upper limit. Ada urdvam trayo apyete yata kalam asamskrutaha Savitri patita vratya bhavantyarya vigarhitaha. Ada urdvam trayo apyete yata kalam asamskrutaha Savitri patita vratya bhavantyarya vigarhitaha. Now he says, if you go beyond the time period, you are considered a patita, which means you are no longer considered a person who is eligible for doing anything. So he said, if you do the sacred ceremony, he gives the upper limit 16, 22, 24. If you are going above this, you become a sinner actually, and you are not eligible to do anything at all in your life after that. That is what Manu is telling. So that's the importance he gives for the sacred ceremony. Now sloka number 40. Naitair aputair vidivadab adyapihi karihichite brahman yaunamsya sambandhan acharet brahmanas sahab. Natair aputair vidivadab adyapihi karihichite Brahman Yaunam cha Sambandhan Acharet Brahmana Sahab. So people who have for some reason gone beyond this limit, they can still do Prayashchittam. There are some Prayashchittas they can do and they can try to redeem themselves. So if they didn't do the sacred ceremony at the right time and they also don't do Prayashchittam, then Manu says you have to keep them away. You should have no relationship for Brahman and Yaunam. That's two terms you use. Brahman means all the Vedic activities. You cannot invite them from Vedic, which means even marriage is a Vedic activity. You cannot invite them for marriage. Even Vivaham is one of the samskaras. So if he says all Brahman means all Vedic samskaras, exclude them. So he says. So if they don't do sacred ceremony at the right time, and for forgetting that they didn't do Prayashchittam, if they didn't do both, exclude them from Brahmans means all the Vedic karmas. Yaunam means all the marriages, they cannot even get married also. Nobody should marry in their family. So Manu is giving this ultimatum. If you don't do this, they don't, first he says they don't become eligible, is their own individual eligibility. In the first loka, he says they become not eligible to do any karmas. But in the second, he says one, you exclude them. So then half of us will be only out of society. That's a different story, but that's what Manu says. Okay. Next comes sloka number 41. Karshna Raurava Bastani. Here only you will get all these different things. You have to start remembering your old chemistry, all those stuff and all. Karshna Raurava Bastani, Charmani Brahmacharinaha, Vasiran Nanupurvena, Shana Shoma Avikanicha. Karshna Raurava Bastani, Sharmani Brahmacharinaha, Vasiran Nanupurvena, Shana Shoma Avikanicha. So he is now telling, once you get the Upadanam, you become a Brahmachari. Whether you are Kshatriya or Brahmana or Vaishya, you become a Brahmachari. Now he is trying to describe what type of clothing you are supposed to wear. Once you become a Brahmachari, what are the type of cloth? Karshna Raurava Bastani gives the Karshna means, remember we talked about Krishnarjuna. Krishnarjuna is the black antelope. So remember, that's why if you remember, even during our Punal, I remember very well, they used to put manthol. They will bring specifically deer skin, because these days we don't wear deer skin, because if you wear deer skin, some people from human rights will come and say animal rights will come and you're killing, you're wearing the thing. So what they do is nowadays they just give a deer skin and they tie it to your thread. So that is as if like wearing a deer skin on top of your body. So Krishnarjuna means the black antelope skin has to be worn. Raurava, Ruru is another type of deer. And that the Kshatriyas have to wear the Ruru skin. And Bastani means is a type of wool, which is you go to New Zealand, you will see all the semari nice wool. Wool is Vaishyas. So the Brahmanas have to wear the deer skin. The Kshatriyas have to wear the Ruru skin. And the Vaishyas have to wear the semari the wool of the goat or the sheep, whatever it is. That is what the Vaishyas have to wear as the upper cloth. Now, what is the cloth for below the thigh? This is like you're like shirt and pant. Now we told you what to wear for the shirt, what to wear for the pant. Shana, Shauma, Avikanicha. Shana again this times means a type of, this is, I've did the research on this. It actually talks about the fibers. You have to go to textile industry. Flax, hemp and wool. That's exactly Shana, Shauma, Avikanicha. Flax, what do you mean by flax fibers? That is Shana. And you will learn. If you go on Google, I started learning how textile industries after I learned this chapter. Shana, Shauma means one is hemp, one is flax, and another one is again wool. Avikani means again it also means coming from the sheep or the goat. It also refers only to the type of the wool which comes from the sheep or the particular, the what we call the semari. There are all those sheep which have those specific wool. So one is flax fibers, one is hemp fiber, one is woolen fiber. So you should wear only the pant or the lower garment should be made specifically. The Brahmana should be Shana, the Vaishya, the Kshatriya should be Shauma, and the Vaishya should be Avikanicha. So Karshna, Raurava, Bastani is the upper clothing for Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Brahmacharis. This is only for the Brahmacharis. And the garment which you wear in the lower part of the body should be Shana, Shauma, Avikanicha, which is for the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and the Vaishyas. So it tells you actually the fiber, which plant, which fiber, and you have to wear a cloth made of that particular fiber. That's what it says. Maunji Trivrit Samma Shlakshna Karya Viprasya Mekala Kshatriyastu Maurvijya Vaishyashi Shanatan Tavi. Maunji Trivrit Samma Shlakshna Karya Viprasya Mekala Kshatriyastu Maurvijya Vaishyashi Shanatan Tavi. It talks about the Aranakair. Remember, if there is a thread which goes around your hip, you know, where we wear that. We all wear something with a thread nowadays, but again, is specifically defining, it should be 3 layered, which means 3 fibered, which you have to twist and make it as a one mekala. Mekala is one which goes around the, which it's like a Udyanam type. Udyanam for males, but it is made up of these fibers. It is which goes around the hip, and it is Maunji of the Maunji grass. It's a specific type of grass fiber. You should make the mekala from the Maunji grass, 3 layered from that for Brahmanas. Maurvi is Maunji is one, Maurvi is another one. Maurvi grass is for the Vaishyas, and Shanatan Tavi is again, Shana again means comes from the woolen fibers only. So for Vaishyas, mostly it's only wool. Even upper clothing wool, lower clothing wool. Aranyan is also one of the coming from the woolen type. So all these are for the Aranyan, which is the mekala which goes around the hip. Maunji for Vipra. Vipra is Brahmana. Kshatriya is Maurvi, and Vaishya is Shana. So that is about this. So he told about the upper clothing, the lower clothing, the mekala or the Aranyan which goes in the middle of the body. Munja alabe tu kartavya kusha ashmantaka balvajehi trivritta grandinaikena tribihi panchibire vava. Munja alabetu kartavyaha kusha ashmantaka balvajaihi trivrita grandinaikena tribihi panchabireva. He says alternate. Okay, if you don't get the Munji, which is the Maunji or Munji for the Brahmanas, you don't get the Maurvi or the Murvi for the Kshatriyas, and you don't get, your area doesn't have the Shana, which is for the Vaishyas. He gives you alternate. Munja alabe means which is not available. When the primary thing is not available, he gives you substitute for the Aranyan. He says Kusha Ashmantaka Balvajaihi. I mean, you have to go to textile industry to learn this. You know, I myself learned only after reading these chapters. Kusha is very simple. It's Darbai. That is the Kusha. We have all used Darbai. You can use the Darbai itself for Aranyan for Brahmanas. Whereas for Vaishyas and Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, you have to use the Ashmantaka fibers or the Balvaja fibers. Balvaja. So these are all different plants and the fibers which come out of those plants. So, you know, I don't know much about this botany, but that's basically the point is, he gives you first 3 options, Maunji, Maurvi, and Shana. And if that's not available, you should use Kusha, Ashmantaka, Balvaja for the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. These are the different type of fibers which you get from plants, which you put around the waist. So for Brahmanas, if nothing is available, you can use the same Kusha grass, the Darba grass itself can be used. That's what he says. Again, the question will come, what is the benefit of doing all this? Again, there is clearly people like Manu can see all the divinity behind all these creations on earth. And because either you have to be the creator or you have to be in close relation to the creator. Because Manu is Brahma's son itself. Brahma is the creator and Brahma's son is Manu. So Manu will know exactly what his father is thinking, what creation has what divinity. That is why he can tell you which is more divine, which is less divine, which is more beneficial to Brahmins, which is more beneficial to Kshatriya. So because he is the creator's son, he has knowledge of all these things. So that is why he is able to tell. Because if you will be amazed when we go to the Shraddha Kanda Mandal, when you go to how Devasam Mandal is done, you will be amazed that how you can use avarika, but you can't use beans. If you think in simple language, avarika is also green vegetable. Beans is also green vegetable. If you go to a nutritionist, in fact, beans might be more nutrition than even avarika. But specifically, the Sharda says, use avarika, don't use beans. Though they are looking similar, though their nutritional benefit is similar, one is avoided, one is used. So these are all specifics. And, if you go to, this is what, Apay Dikshidhar has written a book on the Karma Kandas of the Vedas. He called Vidhi Rasayana. How nice. He enjoys all these different varieties. Vidhi Rasayana. He says it is reading these different rules for different things is very nice for me. That's why. So he wrote a book called Vidhi Rasayana, enjoying these different varieties with the Vedas prescribed for different people, So that is about this. So now coming to the next one. Karpasam upavitam shyat vipras yordve vritam trivrte shana shutramayam ragnyo Vaishyasya avika sautrikam. Karpasam upavitam shyat vipras yordve vritam trivrte shana shutramayam ragnyo Vaishyasya avika sautrikam. Now it tells you that it told you the sacred thread. But what is the material for the sacred thread? The punalvi. We all wear one type of thread now only. But he says karpasam is only for brahmanas. Karpasam is cotton. So karpasam upavitam viprasya. Vipra always here means brahmanas here. So for the brahmanas, the sacred thread or the yajnavidam should be made up of cotton. And again, it should be a 3-layered cotton, which you have to, tie it in one way. Even the first, the previous sloka, remember it was the Munja Alabe, he says Kusha Ashmantaka Balvajai. The Kusha has to be tied with 1 knot. The Ashmantaka has to be tied with 3 knots. And the Balvajai has to be tied with 5 knots. So even there is how many knots you put also is different. So the grass is different and the number of knots you put also is different. 1, 3 and 5 for Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Here he tells Karpasam for Brahmanas, Shana, again the woolen type for the Ragnya, and Avika Sautrikam is the special thing which is out of, Shana is again the hemp. Shana is hemp for Ragnyas, and Avika Sautrikam is again from the goat or the sheep, the wool which you obtain. So for the Brahmanas use cotton, for Ragnyas use the hemp fiber, and for Vaishya use the woolen fiber for making the sacred thread. So that is how even the sacred thread which you put is different for Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Now he comes to Danda. Brahmano Bailva Palashau, Kshatriyo Vatakadirav, Paila Audumbaro Vaishyo, Dandan Arhanti Dharmataham. Brahmana Bailva Palashau, Kshatriyo Vatakadirav, Paila Audumbaro Vaishyo, Dandan Arhanti Dharmataham. So the dandam, if you remember when you did your own punal several years ago, they used to give you a dandam, which is like a wooden stick. You have a wooden stick with you. You are supposed to carry it throughout your brahmachari, but we all, after 3 days, we left it there. So that dandam, he says, what is the dandam has to be made? For Brahmana, Bailva Palasho, Bilva tree, the wooden stick obtained from the Bilva tree or the Palasha. Palasham is another type of tree. Palasha and Bail, either Bilva or Palasha. The dandam has to be made with Bilva or Palasha for Brahmanas. For Kshatriyo, Vata, Kadira. Vata and Kadira, they are again, we call Al and Karungali in Tamil. Again, there are 2 different types of trees you obtain for the Kshatriya, either from the Vata or from the Kadira. And Paila and Audumbara. Audumbara is the fig tree. In Atti Padam, we call Atti. Audumbara tree is the Atti Padam, the tree which manufactures, which gives you the fig fruit, the fig tree. That wood or the Paila. Paila is different from Bilva. Bilva is different, Paila is different. Bilva and Palasha for Brahmana, Vata and Kadira for Kshatriya, and Paila or Audumbara for Vaishya. So these are either one of them. If you can either use Bilva tree, no need to use both, either one of them, whichever is available. That is how the dandam has to be used for the Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. Then coming to sloka number 46. Keshantiko Brahmanasya Dandaha Karya Pramanataha Lalata Sammito Ragyaha Shyatu Nasantiko Vishaha. Keshantiko Brahmanasya Dandaha Karya Pramanataha Lalata Sammito Ragyaha Shyatu Nasantiko Vishaha. he also tells you the height of the dandam. So you have the wooden stick which you have to carry with you. It has to be up to the head level, actually up to your hair. So it should be almost your whole body level. The Brahmana's danda should come all the way up to the level of the hair in the top of the head. For Rajas, lalatam. Lalatam is the forehead. So for the Kshatriyas, the height of the danda should come up to the forehead. And Nasantiko means the nose. Up to the level of the nose, the dandam should be for the Vaishyas. So even the type of tree is different and the height is different. For the Brahmanas, all the way up to the head hair level. For the Kshatriyas, up to the forehead level. And for the Vaishyas, up to the level of the nose. This is the thing. Okay, I got 2 slokas which I'll finish this part because all these are closely related. Rujavaste tu sarveshu avdradaha saumya darshanaha anudvegakara nurunam sattvacho na agni dushitaha. Rujavaste tu sarveshu avranaha saumya darshanaha anudvegakara nurunam sattvacho na agni dushitaha. These sticks should be avranaha, means vrana means wound. So though no scarring should be there. There should be no scarring in the trees. It should be like very pure. Saumya darshana means to look itself, it should be looking beautiful. Saumya darshana means to look at the danda itself, it should be very attractive. It should not be looking fearful. Anudvegakara means no, it should not look fearful. Like Yama carrying his gada, looking itself is fearful. It should not be something like that. It should be very, so it should be pleasing to look. It should not be fearful to look. Sattvacho means you should be covered with the bark. So it should not be like a naked stick. It should have the bark on top of it. Na agni dushitaha. It should not be burnt with fire at any time. So it should, danda should have all this. No scarring, looking good, not looking terrible, and it has to have the bark covering, and it should not be damaged by Agni. So these are all the characteristics of the danda. Because the thing is, it is believed that the brahmacharis who carry the danda attract Brahma Tejas more than brahmacharis who don't carry it. So we can ask you, what is the use of holding this dumb stick with me? We call dumb stick. What is the, this stick has nothing, no meaning. But the thing is, when the stick is held, even for the sannyasis, there is Tridandi sannyasis, Ekadanda sannyasis, and the Paramam sannyasis who give the dandas. There is, if you look at the very, very nice, when you go to sannyasa danda, there are different grades of sannyasis and who should wear Tridanda, who has Ekadanda, which sannyasi can even give up the danda. Those are all there. The danda has so much power. That's why if you see Mahaperiva and all those things, they won't even leave the danda. It's always attached to their body. As long as the dandam is with you, the Brahma Tejas doesn't leave you. That is the point. The divinity is more attracted to you when you have this particular danda or this particular upper or lower clothing and all those things, Even for, we talk about all these different lower clothes. Even for Shiva, we say, Vyagra Charmodariyam, Pulit Tolai Arail Arasasi. That's what Sundara says. Vyagra Charmodariyam means one who uses the tiger skin to cover himself. He uses the Gaja Charmambaram. He uses the upper body with the skin of the elephant, and the lower body he uses the tiger skin. That's how Shiva is described. Gaja Charmambara or Vyagra Charmodariya. He uses the, and that is those more powerful. We use tiger skin, somebody will put you in jail. But if you wear tiger skin, your penance will go like some higher level, it seems. So that is why Shiva is the embodiment of penance. Now anybody who is using the Vyagra Charmodariyam, their penance will come very fast. They will be their tapo valimai. We call tapo valimai jasti aidu avangalukku. So andamari, so these are all varieties. Even the skins are so capacity. So that is why whenever there is even slokas for Shiva, it will describe what he is wearing all the time. Gajacharma, Ambara, Vyagracha, even the Rudram describes that. So next comes Pratigrihepsitam Dandam Upasthaya cha Bhaskaram Pradakshinam Parityagnim Charet Bhaiksham Yata Vidhi. Pratigrihepsitam Dandam Upasthaya cha Bhaskaram Pradakshinam Parityagnim Shared Bhaiksham Yada Vidhi. So the brahmachari should hold his danda, and with the dandam should do namaskara to Bhaskara, which is Lord Surya. So he should start the day holding the danda, doing Surya Namaskara. And after doing Surya Namaskara, Pradakshinam Parityagnim. He does the Agni which is Guru has, all the different Agnis. You should go Pradakshina around the Agnis. And after that, you should go for Bhiksha. Bhiksham, the Brahmachari is supposed to go for Bhiksha. Even if you are a king, you have to, when you are in Gurukulam, you have to go for Bhiksha. There is Brahmana Bhiksha, there is Kshatriya Bhiksha, there is Vaishya Bhiksha. There is 3 different Bhikshas there. So all of the Brahmacharis, whether it is a Brahmana Brahmachari, Kshatriya Brahmachari, Vaishya Brahmachari, you should do that. You should do Surya Namaskara, you should go around the Agni, and then you go for your regular Bhiksha. Now it says the Bhiksha. Bhavat Purvam Chared Bhaiksham Upanito Dvijotamaham Bhavan Madhyam tu Rajanyo Vaishyastu Bhavat Uttaram Bhavat Purvam Chared Bhaiksham Upanito Dvijotamaham Bhavan Madhyam tu Rajanyo Vaishyastu Bhavat Uttaram. There is a sloga, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi. When you go and ask for your Bhiksha, you suppose say Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi means, oh lady, give me Bhiksha. And even how the Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya should get Bhiksha, the mantra is different. Bhavat Purvam, Bhavan Madhyam, Bhavan Uttaram. So Bhavan should be front for Brahmanas, Bhavan should be in the middle for Kshatriyas, Bhavan should be in the end for Vaishyas. So Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi is what Brahmana should ask. Bhikshan Bhavati Dehi is how Kshatriya should ask. Bhikshan Dehi Bhavati is what Vaishya should ask. So the Bhavan should be in the number 1 for Brahmana, in the middle for Kshatriya, and the end for Vaishya. So this is how. So even when you listen to if somebody comes and asks you Bhikshan Dehi Bhavati, you will know it's a Vaishya Brahmachari. So if somebody comes and asks you Bhikshan Bhavati Dehi, you know it's a Kshatriya Brahmachari. So even by learning, the lady will know which Brahmachari has come to get Bhiksha for her. The last sloka for today. Mataram va swasaram va madurva bhaginim nijam bhikshede bhiksham pradamamya chainam na avamanayet. Mataram va swasaram va maturva bhaginim nijam bhikshede bhiksham pradamamya chainam na avamanayet. So who should start getting Bhiksha is, ideally it should be your own mother. You should first ask Bhiksha. If your mother is not there, your own sister. If you don't have a mother or a sister, mother's sister, Bhagini, Chitti. Chitti is Bhagini. So you start with your mother, sister or Chitti. Those are the 3. First you should be asking the Bhiksha from. If nobody is there in that area, you can ask from any lady, but it specifically says, Na avamanayet, whom you know is going to insult you, don't even go to their house. That's what is the rule. Manu says, now go to a person who is not going to insult you. And if you insult a brahmachari, that's a big sin. That's another thing which will come. But it says specifically, go to these people, but don't go to a place who will insult you. That's what he says there. So in this, so far, Manu has described given about Jata Karma, Nama Karma, the Nishkramanam, the Annaprashanam, the Chaudam, the Kudimi ceremony, then Upanayanam, when to do it, when should you not exceed, and then all about the different clothing for the brahmacharis. All this is covered in this, so far up to the 50th sloka. So, Mangalam Kosalendraya Magniya Gunapte Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. So that is it for me today, Padmanabhanji.
Padmanabhanji, let's finish the Mangalam and then we will come back questions.
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के, शक्ति गणपति शारदाम्बिके शंकराचार्यर के, शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदाम्बिके के, काल भैरव के, काली दुर्गै के, वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरण के, मल्लिकार्जुन के, செல்வ ஜனார்தனர்க்கே அம்பா பவானி கம்பத கணபதி சண்டி சாமுண்டிக்கே ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண பகவானுக்கே ஸ்ரீ சக்கரவாசினிக்கே சீதாராம லக்ஷ்மண சகித மாருதி சரணத்திற்கே வித்யாரண்யருக்கே வித்யாசங்கரர்க்கே வாகீஸ்வரிக்கே வஜ்ரதேக கருட ஆஞ்சநேயருக்கே ஸ்ரீவள்ளி தேவ சேனா சமேத சுப்பிரமணியருக்கே துங்கபத்ரைக்கே ஸ்ருங்க நிவாசினிக்கே ஸ்ருங்கேரி புரியில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே சச்சிதானந்த சிவ அபிநவ நிருசிம்ஹ பாரதிக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு சார்வபௌமருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு வித்யாதீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு பாரதி தீர்த்தருக்கே ஸ்ரீ சந்திரசேகர பாரதி குரு விதுஷேகர பாரதிக்கே
Srini, you can stop recording.
Lost the video. Okay, stop the live stream now.
It's still saying it's live, right?
It's still live in YouTube because my wife tried to join in YouTube, says the YouTube was not live, but I didn't. Is it live on